Good morning. It's time for your verse and worship song for today. Okay, so we're looking at the book of Acts, in Acts chapter 6 this morning. Uh, we're going to start in verse 8. Okay, this is the arrest of Stephen. So Stephen, full of grace and power, did great wonders and signs among the people. Then some of those who belonged to the synagogue of the freedmen, as it was called, Cyrenians, Alexandrians, and others of those from Cilicia and Asia, stood up and argued with Stephen, but they could not withstand the wisdom and the spirit with which he spoke. Then they secretly instigated some men to say, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and God." They stirred up the people as well as the elders and the scribes. Then they suddenly confronted him, seized him, and brought him before the council. They set up false witnesses who said, "This man never stopped saying things against this holy place and the law. For we have heard him say that this Jesus of Nazareth will destroy this place and will change the customs that Moses handed on to us." And all who sat in the council looked intently at him, and they saw that his face was like the face of an angel. So, some takeaways from this block of scripture here. So Stephen was chosen by the apostles to kind of go out and branch out the ministry, so to speak, to go out to places that um, the apostles haven't reached yet, right? So, the goal was to make more apostles and then let them go out and, teach more people, and spread the word even further. So this is what is happening now, right? If we look back at the beginning of chapter 6 is telling us that they chose 7 more. So Stephen was included as one of these 7 that they chose to go out into further places. So he was out. He was doing great wonders and signs of the people, right? Showing the power and the glory of God where he went. It doesn't specifically tell us why they stood up against him, but one would have to think that there was probably some amount of jealousy as to why they started making these false claims and kind of agitating and instigating, as it says. um, you know, but the thing that we have to remember here is that as we get down to the end here, it talks about the Jewish people bringing him before the council, and they set up false witnesses. Okay, so they're saying that Stephen was saying false things against God and Moses, um, which was blasphemy, right? Well, you got to think the Jewish people, false witness was also blasphemy. So they're making themselves no better than what they're accusing Stephen of doing here. Oh, um, they're making those false accusations, those false claims against him, trying to I don't know, stop the threat. We'll say, like I said, I'm not quite sure the motive behind why they would do this, but the thing that I love about this is, they set up all these false witnesses. He's on trial, um, and then they say that and all who sat in the council looked intently at him, and they saw that his face was like the face of an angel. Okay? So, yeah, I always picture that scripture as like seeing an angel right in front of you, wings and halo and glowing light and all that fun stuff. But I don't necessarily think that that's the intent of those words there. I think whenever they're saying that they saw his face was like that of an angel, that that they they found no wrong in Stephen. They have found that he was just doing what he was called to do. He was doing what God had sent him out to do, through the work of the apostles. So, we as followers of Christ, as ones who have surrendered our lives to follow the Lord and uh, to be disciples and to go out and to make other disciples of people, right? The Great Commission, go out and make disciples of all nations. You know, we're kind of like Stevens here, right? We're going out, telling the word in other places. We're gonna catch feedback. We're flack, right? We're gonna have people that come up against us that don't like what we're doing, don't like what we're saying, don't you know? We may lose friendships because of it. We may lose family because of it. But you know, in the end, I have to think that this perspective of God, if we're out there doing His work and we're truly doing what He has called us to do, that we will be seen like Stephen here. When they saw him, that his face was like the face of an angel, right? That we'll be seen as an angel for. I don't want to say we're going to be angels because we're not going to be angels, but we'll be seen that way because of our submission to go out and make disciples of people, right? I feel that Christian, there's nothing better that we can do than to witness to someone, right? To help lead someone to understand who God is and why He loves us and why He does what He does for us, why He sent His Son to die for our sins, and how that affects our relationship, and how that gives us, you know, gives us the need to submit to His authority. I don't think there's anything better in life that we can do. We're not all called to be pastors. We're not all called to be preachers. We're not all called to be missionaries. But we are all called to share our testimonies, to just constantly tell people who God is, why He loves us, why He does what He does. That is something that everybody can do. Whether you feel like you're a pastor, or whether you don't feel like a pastor, it doesn't matter. But you just need to share what God has done in your life. So my challenge to you today is to reach out to someone and share what God is doing in your life. And especially in these downtimes whenever everybody's so down and negative and so hostile, and the world is just a hostile place to be right now. Fighting all over the place, tensions high over opening the government, not opening the government, opening communities, not opening communities, doing this, doing that. Everybody has their viewpoint. Everybody has their different standards, different levels, color systems, green and blues or whatever. If you're going to open or not. But that's not what this is about, right? This is about being the light in the darkness. This is about being who God has called us to be His people, His acts of mercy shown on this earth. So my challenge to you today is to reach out to someone in this person, especially someone that is struggling, that may be homebound, or well, I mean, we're all pretty much homebound, but someone that is extremely not well with being at home today. Um, just reach out to them. Say, you know what? I love you. God loves you, and I'm praying for you, and I will continue to be, that person that you need. Um, just be His hands and feet. Show His love. Show His mercy. Show His grace to others. Um, be the bigger person. I think. Imagine if we all took that standpoint. If we all took the standpoint of being a bigger person, how great this world would be. Right? How great this world would be. So keep that in mind as we worship today. We'll never get back to that point where we're in the Garden of Eden and everything is perfect you know because Adam and Eve chose to sin and led us into this position of having sin in our hearts. But we are at the same time we're broken. We are made new again in Christ. And so, as we're worshiping today, as we're listening to Gracefully Broken by Matt Redman, just keep that in the back of your mind. Right? Pray through who you are going to, um, who you're going to reach out to today, who you're going to say, you know what, God loves you and I love you. It'll be a better day for you. It'll be a better day for them. I guarantee it. All right, so click on the link below for the worship song, Gracefully Broken, Matt Redman, and enjoy your worship time. Enjoy your time with the Lord today. Have a great day.